You know what your problem is?
I ain't got no problem, man. Don't tell me. Don't tell me what my problem is.
Oh my gosh, you won't believe what just went down on the set of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. The atmosphere was absolutely crackling with tension, honey, and let me tell you, what happened next had everyone's jaws on the floor. Listen, the cameras were rolling as usual, capturing all the juicy drama we've come to expect from this explosive season. But child, nobody, and I mean nobody, could have predicted the absolute fireworks that erupted when Scrappy and Khaotic ended up in the same room. What was supposed to be just another stage confrontation turned into something so real, so raw, that even the seasoned crew members were left speechless. Now, let me spill all this piping hot tea about what really went down. The day started like any other, with the crew preparing for their usual dose of manufactured chaos. But honey, for Scrappy, this wasn't just another day at the office. Poor thing had been dealing with mountains of personal drama, family issues, relationship problems, you name it. And let's not forget the constant pressure of being in the spotlight. It was all weighing on him like a ton of bricks, pushing our boy right to the edge. But here's where it gets really interesting, darling. Enter Khaotic, this brash newcomer who's been stirring up more drama than a tornado in a trailer park since the moment he joined the show. This man has a tongue sharper than a serpent's tooth and an attitude bigger than Atlanta itself. And let me tell you, he has absolutely no problem picking fights, especially if it means getting those precious camera minutes. Now, Scrappy, who's been in this game for years, wasn't impressed by Khaotic's little attention-seeking stunts, but something about the way this newcomer had been coming for him lately, chilly, it was enough to make anyone snap. Khaotic had been playing this nasty little game, subtly throwing shade at Scrappy's reputation, making fun of his past relationships, and taking these little jabs at his status in the love and hip-hop circle. Scrappy tried to keep his cool, bless his heart, but today was different. The scene started innocently enough. Well, as innocent as anything gets on this show. The producers thought they were just setting up another one of their little verbal sparring matches. Oh, honey, were they in for a surprise? The moment those cameras started rolling, Khaotic came out swinging with that venomous tongue of his. You've been on this show for how long and you still don't know how to handle your business, huh? Khaotic had the nerve to say, with this smug little smirk on his face that would make the devil himself want to throw hands. Y'all should have seen Scrappy's face. His jaw was clenched so tight, I thought we'd need a crowbar to pry it open. He'd been trying to keep his composure, but Khaotic just wouldn't let up. This wasn't just about the usual reality TV drama anymore. Khaotic was coming for Scrappy's whole identity on the show, and baby, that's when things got real. Man, you need to watch your mouth, Scrappy warned him, his voice low and dangerous like thunder before a storm. But did Khaotic take the hint? Oh no, honey. This fool decided to push even harder. Watch my mouth? Nah, I'm just calling it like I see it. Khaotic fired back, practically begging for what was coming next. You ain't built like you used to be, Scrappy. You're just another washed-up dude pretending to still be relevant. Child! The moment those words left Khaotic's mouth, it was like someone had lit a match in a room full of gasoline. Before anyone could blink, Scrappy's hand flew across Khaotic's face with a crack so loud it echoed through the entire set. The room went dead silent. You could have heard a bobby pin drop. Let me paint this picture for you. Khaotic's head snapped to the side, his face frozen in this perfect mix of shock and rage. For a hot second, everyone just stood there like someone had hit the pause button on reality. But baby, that pause didn't last long. Khaotic came back to life like a man possessed, lunging at Scrappy with security scrambling to hold him back. The cameras were eating this up, zooming in on every second of this delicious chaos. You think you can just slap me and get away with it? Khaotic was practically foaming at the mouth, fighting against the security team like a wild animal. Scrappy stood his ground like a mountain, chest heaving with anger. You've been running your mouth too long, he shot back, his words dripping with venom. Now you see what happens when you don't know how to shut it. The rest of the cast was scattered around like bowling pins, watching this whole scene unfold with their mouths hanging open. The producers were losing their minds, frantically calling for a break while security tried to drag these two grown men apart. But honey, the damage was already done. That slap heard round Atlanta had changed everything. And let me tell you about the aftermath. Bambi, Scrappy's wife, was standing there watching it all go down. She could feel the storm brewing the moment she heard Khaotic's disrespectful words about her man. The way Scrappy stepped up to defend his family's honor. Chile, you could see it in her eyes, that mix of pride and relief that her man wasn't about to let anyone disrespect their relationship. The rest of the cast? Some of them were clutching their pearls in shock while others were trying to hide their smirks, probably thinking it was about time somebody put Khaotic in his place. But one thing was crystal clear. This drama was far from over, honey. As the cameras panned out on all this messiness, everyone was wondering the same thing. How was this going to change the whole dynamic of the show? Would Khaotic try to get his revenge, or had he finally met someone who could put him in his place? Whatever happens next, you better believe we'll all be watching. And that's the tea, darling. Straight, no chaser. This wasn't just another day on the set of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. This was the day the whole game changed. The slap that echoed through the studio wasn't just about anger. It was about respect, about family, about knowing when you've pushed somebody too far. One thing's for certain, nobody who was there that day will ever forget the moment Scrappy decided enough was enough. And as for Khaotic, well, let's just say he learned the hard way that some people aren't just playing for the cameras. This is real life, baby, and sometimes reality TV gets a little too real. The tension in that room was so thick you could cut it with a knife, and Bambi standing there watching her man defend their honor. Chile, that's the kind of moment that makes or breaks relationships. You could see it in her eyes. That fire, that pride, knowing her man would go to the mat for her without hesitation. As the dust settled and the cameras kept rolling, one question hung in the air like smoke after a fire. What's going to happen next? Because honey, in the world of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, one thing's for sure. This drama is far from over. And we'll be right here watching every juicy moment unfold.